Okay, so I want to talk directly to the women who are quietly holding it all. They're holding it all together on paper, at least, and in public, and for their family and for her job. The one who's known for being capable, or like the go to person, the one who never drops the ball. Now, this episode might feel a little uncomfortable because it's a little kind of in your face, but that discomfort, it's necessary, and it's the beginning of awareness, and awareness is where healing starts. So I'll provide you context about like where this is stemming from. I took myself out on a date and, flying solo, making hats, burning designs into them. And I'm the only kind of like individual there. There's a young couple there. There's a family, like a mother and her 4 daughters, adult daughters. There's 2 women there. And it's a 10 a.m. start on a Sunday. And the venue that we were at, like they're offering alcohol at 10 a.m. And I'm not faulting anybody, just so we're clear, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I can't wait for that. That's going to taste so good. And, some people are feeling a little groggy from Saturday night, and some of the designs that people are burning into their hats are like, you hold my hat, I'll hold your beer. And everything is focused around drinking. And, somebody offers me a drink or asks me if I want to purchase one, and I say, no, I'm sober. And then I get the comments, like wow, good for you. And the connotation is there. And it really strikes me that like I'm now the anomaly there. And so I wrote something recently like, don't pity me. Don't give me the wow, good for you when I tell you that I'm sober, especially if you think that you are different from where I was. Because this is the face of problematic drinking. Or rather, I should say, the face of problematic drinking has changed. The stereotypical image of the alcoholic, which by the way is an outdated term, with a brown paper bag and rock bottom story doesn't reflect what's actually happening for many women. Now it's women like me with great jobs and marriages and homes and cute outfits and full schedules and a high level of competence and output. We are really fucking smart. We're really good at keeping all the balls in the air. We handle pressure like pros, and we take care of everyone and everything. And we rarely ask for help. Why? Because we've been conditioned to believe that we shouldn't need it. That to be strong is to be self-sufficient. That our worth is wrapped up in how effortlessly we can juggle it all. But what's really happening underneath the polished exterior is a nervous system that's stuck in a loop. And I see it again and again, not just in my own story, but in the women that I support in the She Walks Canada community, and of course in my private coaching work, where I focus a lot on the nervous system and stress. This blend of over-functioning and emotional shutdown is a fawn freeze combo, a survival strategy that develops over years, sometimes decades, of needing to be okay when things weren't. The fawn response is about earning safety through people-pleasing. You make sure that everybody else is comfortable. You anticipate everybody else's needs before they're even spoken. You carry the mental load, the invisible labor, and the emotional climate of your household or workplace. And you're doing the job of 3 people effortlessly. But inside, you're really exhausted. You want somebody to notice. You want somebody to ask you how you are, to see you, to see the load that you're carrying. But asking for that is risky. So instead, you swallow it. You smile and you pour a glass of wine. And then there's the freeze part of it. This is where your body shuts down because the stress is too much. Like you can't keep running with your rev limiter at the end and it not tax your engine. So words disappear, your mind goes blank, you scroll, you shut off, you cope by whatever means is necessary. And then you feel shame for not even being able to say what you need to. Because you understand pragmatically, like, I should be saying something. And so now we've created this like really frustrating and oftentimes painful loop. Do everything, feel unseen, can't express it, stuff it down, eventually explode or burn out, feel shame, and then repeat. And nobody tells you that this is a nervous system issue. Nobody tells you that this is trauma playing out in real time. Instead, we make jokes about the wine, or we post about needing a drink to survive the day, or we buy the hoodies and the socks and the coasters and the alcohol-laden merch. And we make it all look really cute, normal, and funny. And I'm here to say it's not normal. Not normal, not in the least. But it's also not your fault. Okay, I just want to pause here for a second because I know that if you're listening to this, it can feel like a lot. Maybe you're listening and thinking, yep, this is me, but how do I even start? How do I begin to change something that feels this ingrained? And I want to share a quick story from somebody that I recently worked with because I think her words will speak directly to you. She said that when I first was introduced to Chelsea, I was struggling to manage my drinking, was suffering with clinical levels of anxiety and dangerous levels of stress. I was in pain. And even though I knew I needed help, I didn't understand how to self-soothe. Chelsea gave me a deep understanding of the mind-body connection, practical tools to manage my stress, and the coaching I needed to come back to myself. Within 60 days, I had abstained from alcohol and recovered from an acute state of stress through breathwork, journaling, and a nervous system regulation. This has been a critical time in my life, and I'm so grateful for the experience. I still have work to do, but I know now I'm the master of my own world. And that's what this work is all about. It's not an overnight transformation. It is not perfection, but having the right tools, the right support, and the right understanding of your body so you can come back home to yourself. And if you're ready to take that first step, whether you're sober curious, navigating post-sobriety burnout, or just know that something's got to give, you don't have to do it alone. You can learn more about working with me in the show notes, and I'll get you all the details. All right, let's get back into it because what we're talking about next is where the real shift begins. This is what our nervous systems do when they haven't had safety, support, or a space to feel. And it's absolutely what our society and culture perpetuates, that alcohol is a catch-all. And so, yeah, I did have a problem with alcohol, but not because I was falling apart on the outside, but because I was holding so much on the inside, and I needed a way to shut it all away and shut it all down. When I worked with my therapist, the sheer thought of saying I was an alcoholic or coming to that conclusion was terrifying, and it kept me looping for a lot longer than I needed to. But what she explained to me is like, you don't need to label yourself, and something that we echo in the She Walks Canada community. But I had an emotional and social dependence on alcohol. It was the thing that I reached for to mark the end of the day, to turn off the mental load, to reward myself for keeping it all together. And it actually took me 3 years of sobriety to feel safe even saying that out loud, or to even say that I am sober, because there was a connotation that if I was sober, it meant I had a problem. And like, I wasn't necessarily ashamed of that truth, but because of the judgment and the pity and the assumptions that people make when you do say that you're sober. But now I'm the normal one. Like, that's what 5.5 and counting years of sobriety does. I know I'm the normal one, because what's actually normal is feeling safe in your body, is being able to say what you need. It's having the space to rest without earning it or doing it because like you've broken down. It's regulating your nervous system without numbing it. And that's the work that I do now. At She Walks Canada, we're rewriting the story of what recovery and healing looks like. We hold space for women who are the high-functioning ones, but really overwhelmed. For women who are done pretending that drinking is just a part of life, when it's actually costing them connection, clarity, peace, And through my own private work, I support women in nervous system repatterning, which means learning how to feel safe enough to stop performing and coping, to feel safe enough to reclaim their voice and to build a life that doesn't require a glass to get through it. Like the work that I do, and like certainly in the beginning of my career, I really thought like everything was about discipline and consistency, and those are valid things, but this work isn't about willpower. It's about regulation. It's about building capacity, and remembering that your body isn't broken is brilliant, and it's been following a prescribed method of protecting you. Now it's time to learn a new way. So if you have been thinking and listening to this and thinking like, ugh, this is me, I want you to know like you're not alone. And there's nothing shameful about how you have learned to cope, how you've modeled coping over the years. But there is something powerful waiting for you on the other side of that. So no, don't pity me. Just pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening in your body, to what you're reaching for at the end of the day, which, by the way, doesn't have to be alcohol. It can be scrolling, or it can be numbing out, or like just going to bed and not wanting to deal with life. Like you need to start paying attention to what your nervous system might be trying to tell you. And if you're ready for support, I'm here. And She Walks is here. And there are safe places where these conversations are had, and they are real. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We talk about your story, and we see you without the shame. I'll link a bunch of resources down in the show notes. If this episode has resonated in any way, please reach out. If you have any questions, please reach out. Don't forget to rate, review, share, and in the meantime, breathe it in, be deliberate, and please speak it to yourself.